Welcome in to this Wednesday edition, Blue Sky Live, here with you this morning, back in the Clark Ford studio. Ole Miss and South Carolina, 3 days away from getting together 6 o'clock on Saturday evening there at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. We'll be joined in segment number 2 today by Walker Jones, the head of the Grove Collective, to hit on a number of topics with him. So that coming up. Appreciate his time here momentarily on a show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations of the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55. They're out North Mississippi as well. They take care of you with Sweet Daddy stops that are nearby, connected most of the time. Lunch specials, catering, pulled pork, brisket, sides, desserts, and plenty more there with Blue Sky. If you're coming to town this weekend, take advantage. 49-cent fill-ups, fountain drinks, and plenty more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No haggle, no hassle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and let's hop into a Clark Ford today. Corey and the people at Clark Ford want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Walker Jones, all other guests join on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
So let's see. As we get started this morning, I think Neal and I are both a little tired. We're a little mentally preoccupied at the moment. But we're here with you. I'm just, the sake of being honest. That's where we are sitting here this morning. I was talking to Walker a couple days ago when we set this up, and at the time I was like, yeah, it sounds good. We definitely can do that. Love to have you. And then yesterday I went, that's really good tomorrow, because I'm mentally not really ready for 4 segments. So take up a segment. That's awesome, bud. I'm really, really excited about it. I am proud of the mailbag for the most part. It wasn't simply every single question having to do with Lane Kiffin and the future of the Ole Miss football coaching situation. So that was a positive. It was good.
I don't know about you. I've gotten where I don't know how to answer the question. I'm doing a Q&A thing with J.C. Sherbert, and it's his first question. And he asks it in a way of he doesn't think anything's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Why is the national media this? I have discovered people don't like the answer, I don't know. I don't know if you ever discovered that. People don't like that answer because it's not a positive or a negative answer. It doesn't provide.
It doesn't solve their emotional crisis in either direction. So yes, it only prolongs said emotional crisis. And
my answer to why does the national media think something is, well, I don't know. I'm not in it. I don't know that they're all.
Also, the national media is a hard thing because not everyone has the exact same opinion.
Correct.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are we referring to? And then let's break that down on why.
Correct.
So, I don't know. I mean, Pete Thamel got everybody worked up yesterday. It appeared. When I got back into civilization, I was busy for like 6 hours, and when I got back in the car and pulled it up, I went, oh, and I talked to you, and I was like, oh, okay, that happened today.
And what he said wasn't so. I don't think he said anything controversial. I'm missing it. I'm not. I had a conversation with a friend this morning about this very topic, and he told me he thinks I'm right. That for whatever reason, we've had a cultural shift in the more angry over the last 2 to 3 years, and it permeates into basically everything. Emotional, angry.
I got plenty of theories, but I don't know if that's where we're going today.
Yeah,
sure.
probably.
I can go for a minute.
The fact that you and I both have to walk through a Secret Service thing today probably means we should be somewhat careful with anything profound that we say. We might get on a watch list.
No, look, there's just 2 things. It's social media does nothing but give you instant feedback and reaction, and either throws dopamine into your system or something negative into your system. And then 2, and this goes for everything. This is not about team site media. It's not about cable news. Frankly, it's not about broadcast news, even though all those things are included. Is we are so deeply rooted in confirmation bias now that anything that is not confirmation bias feels like, oh my God, you are giving me a complete affront and badgering me. If you say anything that's not, I agree with you, or yes, that is a completely rational, emotional reaction to what you were and again, I know we're generalizing. Most of you guys probably are not even in that space.
Probably not.
We're talking about the smaller percentage that works it all up on social media and goes crazy and whatnot. But it's hard because I respected what you put in the mailbag, which was, hey, we're not doing a ton of percentages and meters because number one, I know it's easy to do and it's such easy content. But I mean, if this is correct, I was reading from our message board where Pete Nakos, who works for On 3, goes to Swamp 24/7, is that what it is, or wherever he works on whatever On 3's version of Florida is?
Yeah, ours is Swamp 24/7.
Yeah, sorry,
because I've heard from a couple of their people.
I don't want to know what Florida's is called over there. I'm not going, but whatever it is,
you couldn't drag me.
Nakos went over there, and apparently, again, per my message board, whatever, take it up with them if it's wrong, but it's fine. Again, just say things. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, right? Goes over there and says 70% chance that Lane Kiffin is going to Florida.
Okay,
gets beat up on the Spirit about that, comes back on the Spirit and goes, well, it wasn't really sourced. I was just kind of taking a guess. It's also, and again, this is also the same Pete Nakos that cost me 2 hours of my time back in the summer because he put out a list of Ole Miss baseball transfer portal targets.
Yeah.
And not freaking one was actually a transfer portal target. Not one.
Well, they could have been.
There are 15 people on the list, and I sent it through some food chains, and then we got back, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. I'm asking you. Nah.
Well,
I mean, they were technically in the portal.
Aren't we going to do?
So they could have been targets.
Aren't we going to do a story on January 2nd about how so and so will fit because he plays football? He's in the portal and he plays football, therefore he fits.
He is an option.
Could be.
He is an option.
I mean, he's technically an option.
He's technically an option now.
He's in the portal.
He is.
What Thamel said, and I don't know Thamel. He's got me blocked on Twitter. I don't. So
why?
My guess is because
What'd you do?
My guess is because
political?
I'm conservative.
Okay,
yeah, that's probably it. I was kind of vocal about masks and things back in the day.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. You're like, God, make it stop. It's fair. He said he's a national guy. And a lot of the national guys cannot, in large part, you and I've talked about this before. I'm a work around this a minute. Feel free to interrupt me and clarify. I thought that was a UK thing for just a moment. I realized it's Itawamba. I'm sorry. I thought that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Because I don't think he likes UK. Anyway, sorry. My brain scattered. You can't. I remember being in Mobile. I got promoted off the Auburn beat to covering the SEC as a whole. Columnist, all that stuff. That was when the SEC was 14 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Chase, you can't keep up with 14 teams. You can't keep up with 14 teams. Like, I'll go another one. I watched a lot of NBA. Last night, at one point, I had 3 NBA games on my screen. Okay? You focus more on one than the other two. Now, I watched a good bit of Philadelphia and the Wizards, but I was mostly watching the Thunder and the Kings. You can't keep up with 100 or 60, whatever it is, Power 4 football programs. Can't be done. It literally can't be done.
Well, a good example of this, and the two people who did it really well when ESPN had this type of content management and what their thought process was I don't know how long this has been a while. It's probably been 10 years ago when they stopped, maybe longer than that. Is ESPN used to have those running blogs for every conference and then every NFL division. Mm-hmm. And you had like 1 or 2 writers for each one. So for the SEC, it was a running 14 or 12 team or whatever it was. Again, I don't remember the years, but it was just random notes and stories about the entire conference throughout every single day. And it was Chris Lowe and Edward Ashoff.
Right.
And they both did a phenomenal job, but they were, because they understood what you're saying right now, both really good. God bless Edward, is that you can't have all this inside information. So it was lots of 300-word, hey, there's just what's going on. Like, here's some quotes and almost like little notebooks. And it was not, hey, I am an expert on every team and I know more than the people on the ground every time. It was almost none of that. It was, hey, I'm just kind of hearing this, or like, here's whatever, and here's what the quarterback did. And that was it. And I went, yeah, that's palatable. That's manageable.
And so to advance that theory, back when I was doing that, what I started doing was I would go to the different newspapers, the Courier-Journal, the State, the Tennessean, to see what the local people were saying. And I would take that, condense it, give it context, and it worked. Well, these national guys aren't going to go to team sites. They view us as peons.
Raging homers.
And for the most part, they're right. They view us as completely unobjective, completely single-sourced homers. And more than 90%, that's accurate. So I can't really fault them. But newspapers have died. So where are they going to go to read Ole Miss stuff? The Clarion Ledger? You got one person that's Clarion Ledger, young guy, but hadn't been there. How long has he been there? A year?
A little over a year, yeah.
They don't know him. So there's nowhere for them to go. There's not the established newspaper media sources anymore. And so I think they get sort of stuck in a frame of reference that 6 years ago was accurate, and I'm not sure is accurate anymore. I'm not saying it's not. I don't know what Lane Kiffin's doing. I've been very consistent on that. I don't know what Lane Kiffin's going to do. I don't know that too many people do know. I'll give Thamel credit, though. He did point out the one big thing, which is there is a potential major timing issue as it pertains with Kiffin for Florida or LSU or anywhere else. And that's the timing of the CFP, the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been down this road. I mean, if the season ended today, Ole Miss is hosting a game December 19th or 20th. If they were to win that game, they're playing a game on January the 1st. If they win that game, they're playing on January the 8th or the 9th. If they win that game, they're playing on January the 19th. I realize those are ifs.
But yes.
But, I mean, I think if you were to say, okay, would Ole Miss will be favored. If the season ended today, Ole Miss would be favored in their playoff game. Doesn't mean they'll win, but they'd be favored. And Ole Miss on a neutral side against the other, there's like 17 teams right now that are in the playoff mix. Okay?
Sure.
Against those 17 teams, Ole Miss on neutral sites would be favored against some, would be the underdog against some, but I don't think you'd see many big lines.
Well, I mean, Blake Pierce says in the stream here, I'll take his word for it. It says via Josh Payton FanDuel, Ole Miss spreads versus every team not named Ohio State currently in the field would be 3 points or less on a neutral field.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably about right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, Ole Miss could be done on December the 19th or 20th. Or they could very well make a run. Who knows? Matchups, injuries, luck of the draw, etc.
I mean, my advice to all you guys is enjoy the game on the field right now. You can't control the other. Just have a good time. Show up Saturday. Enjoy your family, friends, whoever's going. Chill out. It's going to be one way or the other. Your program's in good shape either way.
Well, and that's the thing. This is the part that I think is lost on people is I have people go, like, I'm sure you get this, like, what will you do if he leaves? Well, he's eventually going to leave. I mean, he's not coaching forever.
Everybody in this chat would have taken it had they said Lane comes in whatever of 19 and leaves at the end of 2025. Again, I'm not saying he's leaving.
Right.
I'm saying he's already blown over my over.
Way past.
It was like 2.5 or something.
Yeah. And I mean, my point is that you've got good leadership. You've got total commitment to the program. And in a world where he leaves, and eventually he will leave. I mean, he is a human being. At some point, we're all leaving.
We're all leaving. Very existential.
At some point, that they're not going to shut it down. They're not going to just lock it up. That's not good. The Vaught Hemingway is not going to turn into the Silverdome. I mean, they're going to keep playing. They'll go hire another really good coach. They'll pay him well. They'll give him the resources to hire the support staff that he needs, whoever that is, whenever that is. I mean, that's kind of my take on it. It's the angst. And I'm not saying our people, but there's a lot. If you read message boards, there's a lot of angst. A lot of angst. I'm not sure that I completely get it because, number one, he hasn't said anything at all to make you think he's staying or leaving. And I don't do the tweet stuff. I had people go, "What do you think of his tweet?" I'm like, I didn't think anything of his tweet. I literally thought nothing of his tweet. It's not a knock at Lane. I just don't pay attention to his social media. I don't think he's giving.
If you're
away.
expecting complete direct meaning out of his social media, then good luck.
I mean, I don't even pay attention to it. I don't even look. Someone has to show it to me.
Wicked Brew, thanks for Super Chat. National media just hates that Lane is Ole Miss because he makes them work harder because they can't recycle stories from 10 years ago. They hate that.
I can't speak to that one way or the other. I don't know. The people I know in the national media don't have anything against Ole Miss. I know Chris Lowe really well. I know Mark Schlabach well. I know Mike Griffith very well. I talked to Mike yesterday. Who am I missing?
Ross Dellinger.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Ross at the Georgia game as well. I mean, I don't think Ross has
Pat Fordy, Dan Wolken, Dan Wetzel, Pete Thamel.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Nicole Auerbach.
Now, if you told me that
Christine Brennan,
if you told me that Fordy has an issue against Ole Miss, I'd buy it. Wolken for sure.
Wolken's actually he's been kind of like on your team lately. Like he's been pro Ole Miss on a lot of these conversations.
I don't
the last
think we're
60
on
days.
the same team.
Do you not?
No, I'm pretty sure we're not on any same team.
Oh, really?
Pretty positive.
Multiple teams. Okay, gotcha.
I don't think our teams overlap much.
You think you're typically on one side and he's on the other?
I do.
Of most things?
Of almost everything.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. No, look, 40 has a bug up. It's like the
Sure.
Yeah, like, but at the end of the day, who cares?
But like Staples doesn't. I know that for a fact.
No, I told you, I like Andy a lot. I don't think Andy deep down would even disagree. He plays a character now.
Yeah.
Because he needs college football to be the end all be all of everything.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's fine.
And Pate's the same way. I don't know Nakos. I've never met him.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't mean that as a negative. I've never met him. I don't know anything about him. I couldn't begin to speak to his mindset.
They do mostly think that Lane should be at a bigger program. I do think that is a relevant.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
And it's in your mailbag. I mean, somebody goes, it's still living 10, 20 years ago because what's bigger program? Top 5 salary, most expensive offensive coordinator in the league, most expensive defensive coordinator in the league, incredibly efficient collective, and they're maxing out rev share and scholarships.
That's to my point. I think what you see is you have some people that are still sort of stuck in an old paradigm because it's impossible to keep up with what's happening everywhere. And a lot of those people, they've built their sourcing at the, quote, big programs over the years. Probably didn't spend a lot of time 6 years ago worrying about Georgia Tech, Indiana, Ole Miss. I mean, they didn't.
No.
You know? I mean, so suddenly you're trying to figure out those programs, and those are programs that you didn't pay attention to because in 2017, 2018, there was really no reason to.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Walker in a minute. Before we do that, let me tell you about Northeast Spark, fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. They offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service, nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected, stay local.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, South Haven, Hernando, those areas, call Southern 662-429-4429. We'll have picks up tomorrow. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. It's hard to believe. That'll be brought to you by Lapels Dry Cleaning. They've got you covered if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right in the Oxford area. They've been proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapels takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery. To make life easier, just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Please make sure you mention Rebels 24/7 or MPW Digital. You get 50% off your first order.
Podcast is brought to you by Horn Legend, hornlegend.com, wearing one of the quarter zips right now. A lot of options for you, including, as we mentioned yesterday, the polo Lane had on during his weekly press conference. It was the Realtree Galaxy. It's available at Horn Legend, hornlegend.com. BlueSky.com. Click MPW Digital in the drop down. We would appreciate you doing that. Quarter zips, sports shirts. Probably wear one of those tonight to the event there. So a lot of options for you there. Again, HornetLegend.com. Walker Jones, how are you?
Hey, fellas, what's up? Good morning.
Good morning.
Slow news day, nothing going on. Just
Really
trying to fill time with things. That's
really
all
nothing.
We're doing
Nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk about.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Just another 2 days before. Let's see. We'll start here. Let me see if I can piss people off. What's your favorite Halloween candy? What's the one Halloween candy you pull out of a kid's bag and go, that's mine?
I was always a Nestle Crunch.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah, I was a Nestle Crunch or a Hershey bar. I was kind of a chocolate bar type of guy. I didn't like, the chewy stuff. I liked, the chocolate bars. But yeah, Nestle Crunch was the one I always went diving for. I would trade the taffy and the Reese's peanut butter cups,
Wow.
gum and gobstoppers and all those old things for a good old Nestle Crunch.
Walker Jones just included Reese's peanut butter cups in the same thing with taffy and gobstoppers. I mean, wow.
Well, do you remember the old they were jawbreakers, gobstoppers?
I'm with you on everything except for the peanut butter cup part, man.
Are you kind of against peanut butter? Or are you like, is it overrated?
Yeah, I'm not a big peanut butter guy.
Okay.
I never have been.
Carson, my son doesn't eat it at all. He hates it.
Yeah, I will eat it, but it has to be with something else as the primary. Like a Reese's is okay because it's more chocolate, but I'm not just going to go grab the peanut butter snack and have at it at that point. So,
y'all remember the old the pixie dust, like the stick, and you would swipe it through the pixie dust and lick it, and I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
Fun Dip.
Fun Dip. I think that
Fun Dip. Yeah.
That's what it was.
That was always a good one.
I remember just the pixie stuff in the straw, and you just pour it straight into your mouth.
Yeah, you'd bite off the top.
Yeah,
like this long
absolutely.
Thing. Yeah, exactly.
If you played if I grew up in Ruston, you could play Little League, and after Little League games, you got a free slushy thing, and you could take a pixie dust and pour that in there.
Oh
yes. Hey,
wow.
The smart ones, we knew how to add a little something to your drink. Yeah, it's good.
That's innovation right there. That's candy innovation.
It was a sign of an entrepreneurial spirit, Walker.
Continuing the softballs around here, how is your world affected with all the Lane Kiffin stuff going on in the media and otherwise?
Yeah, look, I think it's there's not a day goes by the last 10 days where I'm not getting, a text or a phone call like, hey, what are you hearing? What do you think? And and I've really, and I get it. I understand it. Unfortunately, we've been through this before. And I think this time around, it's really, I'm just trying to tell people, look, man, you can't listen to the noise because that's what it is right now. We're not going to know anything for weeks until we get into December after Thanksgiving and the season ends and we see if we're in the playoff and SEC championship. So it's really just futile to fret over every 24-hour news cycle and sitting by your phone every day and reading social media and this new report and this new report. And I just, for me, it's like, look, I'm really, and I mean this, like, I haven't really lost a lot of sleep over it or thought over it because it will be what it will be. And coaches, think differently than a lot of us. Things that matter to us maybe don't matter to them, or things that we think should matter to them don't. And I've been around coaches long enough to know that they're unpredictable and they're going to do things on their own time, and there's really not much you can do to change that. And so I've taken the approach more of let's do the things that we can control that maybe will factor into how this all shapes out, and that's supporting these players, supporting the team, showing up Saturday night with a sold-out crowd and with a great atmosphere, continuing to focus on winning games. And that's to me where the time is best spent. I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. But, in this news cycle, there's going to be so much, again, noise that's come out. And I heard this and I heard that. And, Again, Lane is a master at dropping little breadcrumbs out there on social media that sometimes mean something and a lot of times mean nothing. And so, that's kind of the approach. And I've told everybody that hits me about it, like, hey, man, if we win ball games, things will take care of themselves. And that's where the focus needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I just mentioned this right before you came on, and I'm curious because I mean, you've been an Ole Miss guy your entire life, and when you see some of the, I guess, national conversation talking about, hey, Florida or insert your school does this, and they've got all these things, and you look up and Ole Miss is prepared to make Lane Kiffin one of the highest head coaches and paid high head coaches in the country. You've got the most expensive offensive coordinator in the SEC, the most expensive defensive coordinator in the SEC. You guys have been very efficient. The rev shares max out. You've got, scholarship increases and everything, including full scholarships in baseball and all this. I mean, are you able to completely block it out, or at some point is it just kind of, as an Ole Miss person, annoy you when you see that, the connotations are still sitting almost like it was 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, that's a good point, Chase. I didn't really get annoyed until yesterday when I listened to Pete Thamel, where he was talking about, like, it's hard to imagine seeing Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin coaching at Ole Miss next year. And look, I know Pete's a seasoned journalist and all that. I don't really know where he's getting that from. And again, I think to your point, you said it there at the end. You have to look at these jobs in today's marketplace and today's landscape of college football and college athletics. It's a lazy take. 5-10 years ago, yes. Did the jobs look different? Did Florida job and the LSU job compared to Ole Miss? And there would be no brainers in those. Yeah, because it was a different time then. Winning looked different. The steps you have to take to be competitive and relevant were different than they are now. And I just think now you have to take into account these are extraordinary times we're in. The world is different. The way these players think about where they're going to play and where they want to compete is different. Um, and again, the process to be nationally relevant is different than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So, and again, tribute to our chancellor and our athletic director, and really, our fans for, supporting us. Like, I made a comment the other day that it just speaks to our fans' acumen and intelligence to understand what matters now and how they support us to make our job much more attractive in today's world than it was, 5 years ago. And I think those are the things that you hear some journalists pick up on that, and some of the national narratives like, look, I don't know. I think it's a lazy take to say that, oh, he has to go to Florida or he has to go to LSU. I don't think it's that simple. I certainly know that Lane certainly doesn't feel that way, and our other coaches don't feel that way because of what we've been able to provide them in the level of support and infrastructure to be relevant on the national scale. And so I think those things have to be taken into context, and they have to be applied to how to win in today. I mean, look at Missouri, Vanderbilt, us, Texas Tech. A lot of these teams that
Indiana.
are, you see, Indiana littered across the top 10 or 15. That's not an accident. And so so again, I feel, and maybe that's why I don't get overly worried about it right now, because I know we've done so much work to put the resources and infrastructure around not only Lane but all our coaches. So when these things come calling and these other opportunities come calling, we're in a really advantageous situation.
To your point, I was having a conversation with a national reporter yesterday, not Thamel. He and I have never spoken, to my knowledge. And he said something about, don't you think Kiffin has to address this with his team? And I was like, why? I mean, think about this for a minute. Every single player on that team and every other team theoretically is a free agent if he wants to be on January the 2nd. I mean, it's absurd. It's wild. I mean, if you did that in Major League Baseball, the NFL, or NBA or NHL, people would say this is absolute chaos. But it's the reality in college football, right? So, I mean, he's got a team full of guys that in a world where he left, they could follow him. In a world where he stays, they can stay. In a world where he stays and they don't want to play there anymore, they can leave. I mean, I was like, I don't think that's a big deal. And I got finished with it, and he goes, I hadn't really thought about it that way. And I was like, you haven't? And so, we opened the show. I don't know if you heard what we were talking about. I've said it's impossible for a national person to keep up with every program. I remember being charged with 14 programs, and I couldn't do it. It's too much. You just can't.
Right.
That's impossible, especially in, as you know better than us, in a sport that is in a remarkable state of flux.
That's right. Well, look, Neal, I think those are great points. The locker room is different than it was, obviously, when I played, or even 5-7 years ago. And football being the ultimate team sport, you got 85 to 100 alpha males in there that all came from high schools where they were the best player on their team, and they're super competitive, and there's 11 guys on the field. I mean, it's that team, and that's why the locker room is so important, because it can be so corrosive if it's not healthy, and it can be so helpful when it is healthy. But the dynamic is different now. And again, I think, look, that was when I remember the first phone call I had with Lane 3.5 years ago, when he called me about NIL. And that was me as a former player. Like, how does this work in the locker room? Like, how do you manage the money now, and the communication, and the cohesiveness, and the culture? And, his answer was essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, was, look, we're going to treat it like an NFL locker room, and we're going to embrace it. We're not going to hide from it. We're going to embrace the change and the unknown and the compensation, and we're not going to run away from it. And we're going to have a clear plan. They're going to know the clear plan, and we're not going to, just close our eyes and throw darts against the wall about how much money we want to pay players. And he was right. And I think we're seeing that now, that, you saw the team after a devastating loss against Georgia, and then all the news cycle pick up, and then really to refocus and go on the road and win in a very tough place against a really good football team, and almost have the same script at Georgia. You get down, you're winning, dominating the whole game. You get down in the fourth quarter, and instead of it repeating itself, we ended up outscoring them 9-0 and winning the ball game going away. And so I think that speaks to not only the resilience of the team, but the culture that Lane and the staff have created about, look, we're going to address these things as they come, but we also know the reality that all these players are, in some way, to your point, Neal, are going to have to make these same decisions.
Yeah.
Do I stay or do I go? The portal, there's only one portal window now. It used to be there was the winter portal and then the spring portal. Well, now there's just 15 days, January 2nd through the 16th. And, we can talk about the football calendar another day, and signing day, and the portal, and playoffs and all that, which is a mess. But it is what it is right now. So there's one portal window, and they're all going to have to address it. And we may still be playing at that point. And so, to your point, the players in their own world are dealing with it just like our coaches are.
Yeah, I mean, everyone literally has a decision to make. I mean, like when you played, I mean, I guess you technically had a decision to make, but if you were to have left Ole Miss to transfer to Auburn, wherever, you would have had to sit a year. So, I mean, that would have been there's the penalty here that factors in. Now, it's just, no, if you want to move and go to Auburn, you can. You want to go to Kansas, you can. You want to go to wherever. I mean, you technically can. I mean, not everyone's going to utilize the option, obviously, but everyone has it.
That's right. And again, I think, too, us as fans and, that are around the program like we are and what we do at the Grove Collective for the program to help with retention and to help with recruitment of the roster, is focusing on, again, keeping that culture healthy, continuing to win, having an energetic stadium on a Saturday night against South Carolina, and all those things. When a player sits down in January or December and is going, hey, what do I think about this? That all is going to be interconnected into their decision. And that also is going to play a role in ultimately Lane's decision. And, and I think all these things kind of add up in totality. And again, that's why we go back and talk about the new world of college football and college athletics. It's just not what it was 5 to 7 years ago, and how you evaluate, well, do I stay or do I go? And you look at it and go, okay, what's the retention piece going to look like? Which we've already started working on. What is that what does that look like for the roster next year? And then what holes are we going to need to go plug? And all that stuff, will be a crescendo at some point here at the end of the season. And I feel really, really confident that we'll be very prepared, and whatever decision gets made at that point will get made. But we're going to be in a great spot.
Romulus has a question that's a good one, I think. Does the CSC, which I guess is College Sports Commission, I guess that's what that means, have any chance of enforcing the House settlement and all it entails, or are we headed back to the Wild West plus rev share?
Yeah, he obviously means the NIL side, not rev share, but where does that sit?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question, and unfortunately, I don't have a great answer. My answer is we're dealing with it like everybody. Will it survive? We don't know, and we truly won't know until we get through this portal season. And what I mean by that is the settlement went in place July 1st, and then football season started, and then there was a massive amount of front loading, as you've probably heard, that all the schools did, where they front loaded a lot of the payroll prior to July 1st. So they cleared the books of a lot of money so they wouldn't have to be subject to the clearinghouse. We did it to a degree. Pretty much every school did it. So what I mean by that is the players got a lot of their money, or most of their money, and they went right into the season. And so it's not really top of mind to them. Kind of same thing with basketball. Well, now we're going to get through the season and we're going to get into the first portal season post house settlement. And we're going to see how restrictive and how it operates in a chaotic portal season, especially with all these firings going on, players being able to go in at different times, portal windows being extended. The rules have changed on if a coach leaves or gets fired, and then the coach isn't hired within 30 days, there's a 15-day extension on top of that on the 31st day. So we're going to really not know how the CSC is going to respond until we get through December and January. And I think then we'll know, number one, will it survive? And number two, how enforceable will it be? We have to plan for every contingency. All right, look, yes, it's going to work just as they said it's going to work. No, it's going to get sued and it's going to blow up. We're going to go back to the old model. What we can't afford to do is assume it's going to work perfectly and we're only going to be able to spend $15-16 million, or assume that it's not going to work. We have to be able to kind of plan for everything. And that's what we've been doing the last 3 months, is saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to prepare that if it doesn't work and it doesn't, respond the way it was supposed to per the settlement rules and regulations, then we got to be able to take advantage of that. If it is, then we got to be able to figure out ways to get these deals through the system. And the cool thing for us is, we have been, as we always have, try to be really creative with these first deals that we've put through the system. And literally each week we're learning on, okay, yes, this deal got through. This deal didn't get through. This deal got sent back because it needed more clarification or more context. And we've revised our process and our agreements on the NL side as we've learned more and more. And now we're seeing how we're able to get some deals through the clearinghouse and clear a lot of that money. And again, most schools are probably doing the same thing as us. But my point being is, we're going to be prepared for whatever that looks like in February, but we're really not going to know on the CSC until it gets tested this first portal season.
It's also really fast. Yeah, it's also really fascinating because, in football, it's obviously a big number out of the rev share number, but you still need a lot more. And then I look downstream a little bit like basketball, and I'm not going to put numbers out there or make you have to try to answer those. But from a percentage standpoint, we're talking about a large percentage of the payroll in basketball needing to be NIL, not rev share. I can do simple math here and know it's 60 something percent or whatever it is. So what you're talking about, it's not even necessarily, hey, we need these little deals to go through and create this rubber stamp. This doesn't function unless a lot of money runs through the NIL side and gets approved on a very timely basis, because it's the majority of your payroll downstream almost completely.
That's right. Well, I mean, look, simple math, and again, I won't get into specific numbers, but the Grove Collective, when we had to spend when we were the ones paying every dollar prior to the House settlement, we were spending on all our sports in totality a heck of a lot more than $20.5 million. Again, due to the generosity of our fan base and our supporters and our corporate donors, we were able to raise a large amount of money. And so our payroll was already 40-50% higher than that mandated rev share cap. So, and again, in no real free market does compensation go backwards. They're gonna figure out a way. Now, will we see the same inflation increase every year that we were seeing the first 3 years, where it was literally doubling every year? Probably not. But are we going to see a massive drop off? No. My guess is it's going to be about where it is, with probably a little bit of an increase. And that's probably a good thing too, is there needed to be some pullback. And we couldn't sustain 50, 75% growth year over year. Those numbers are just unsustainable for the 95% of the college programs out there. So you're already seeing, the effects of NIL Go and CSC trying to kind of limit those massive increases. Now, but again, I don't think you're going to go from paying a football roster, again, I just use rough math. If you were paying your football roster $20 million this year, it's not going to drop back to $14 million next year. Like, it's probably going to stay somewhere in those ranges, and that's what we're preparing for. And again, to your point, Chase, is we're being really creative, and this is where our corporate partners, the city of Oxford, those type things are really helpful to us. Is as we learn more and more about these corporate activations, these brand activations, these true NIL opportunities for our student athletes, this is where our business community has to help us and continue to step up. We've already talked to Robin Tannehill, the mayor of Oxford, trying to really harness the uniqueness, because I think Oxford is actually an advantage for us. Everybody goes, oh, you guys can't compete with Austin or Atlanta or Miami or some of these big metropolitan cities that these other schools are in. And I'm like, well, actually, to be honest with you, the impact that Ole Miss has in the Oxford community, dollar for dollar, is a lot more significant than it is in Atlanta, Georgia, or Austin, Texas. So if we can quantify that, we actually have an advantage to get, because I can say, look, these athletes, look what they're doing to the tax base and to the revenue of the city of Oxford by having a successful season. And that's where the Oxford business community and the bigger local and regional Mississippi business community can help us a ton to get these deals verified and cleared.
Well, and I saw you've even, you've been doing the round up at some restaurants and stuff and different things. I'm seeing now you can just tip. I've had a couple places where you just put the tip amount in, so you're moving on up a little bit, like the Jeffersons there, with what people can give on a transaction basis.
Yeah, well, we're trying everything. I mean, look, there's no ideas. That's one thing I've learned. No idea is a bad idea. You throw everything against the wall. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. We've done everything from our own bourbon to cigars to roundups to tips to we're doing Lainey Wilson's boots this weekend.
All that.
Partnering with a bunch of our female athletes on Lainey Wilson's Golden West boot collection. Lainey West is going to do some activation, which I won't spoil yet. So we're partnering with her. So yeah, look, we've got to try everything. And again, that's where the creativity has to come in. And that's where the support, and our fans have been so supportive of us. And they just need to know that we are literally testing the system every way possible and trying to find every way to be able to justify, because, we're going to need that supplemental NIL budget to be able to be competitive. And I think we've shown the last 3 years, if we do that, it's going to translate to being relevant on the national scene, not just in football, but all our sports.
Speaking of all sports, what are you kind of looking for from basketball this year? Have you been able to see much?
Yeah, I was at the St. Mary's scrimmage, and then the women's basketball scrimmage on Sunday. I've been at practice watching those teams, and I think that I know Coach Yo and Coach Beard and their staffs have done a phenomenal job, not only retaining the talent that they could, but also going into the portal, being very active, going and filling needs. I'm really excited about what both these teams have. I think Coach Yo has a chance to have her best team she's ever had. She's got a lot of athleticism, a lot of size. She's got a lot of players that have played real minutes at the highest level. And I know she is really, really bullish on her team. Coach Beard, same thing. I think you look at the men's team, we're much more athletic and longer than we were last year. Length in basketball is a big thing. And being able to have 4 or 5 man rotation on the front court where they can, again, it was no secret that rebounding was an Achilles heel for us last year. And I think that problem has been addressed. We saw it in the Houston scrimmage. And look, against a really good St. Mary's team, we played much better in the second half. That team is a really good NCAA season team. That's going to serve us well down the stretch. I think Ilias, our point guard from France, is a pro. I think he's going to have a chance to really be special. And then, Malik I think will have a big year for us as well. So I think both our men's and women's teams are strategically put together to make runs. I think we've seen that. What does it take to get to the Sweet 16, and what does it take to get beyond that? And I think both our coaching staffs have built teams to be able to do that, and our fans helped support that. We were able to go out and spend at a very competitive rate to rebuild a Sweet 16 and an NCAA tournament team on both sides. And I think our fans are going to really enjoy watching both those teams play.
Just from what you're hearing scuttlebutt wise, are there SEC teams that are giving incredibly different percentages to some of those basketball, baseball, the non-football sports? I mean, is there some outliers out there in the league?
I think there is across the country.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, you look at, the UConns of the world, obviously those traditional Big East powers that maybe don't have football, St. John's, Seton Hall, Gonzaga, teams like that that don't have a football program that are able to give the majority of their rev share to their basketball programs. That was something that I don't think the powers that be, when they were laying out the House settlement, thought about and realized. I know it's been a major source of angst for our SEC basketball coaches. And I think the $2.5 million scholarship allocation off the 20.5 that the SEC did is something that is being discussed a lot by the SEC and the coaches. Was that a smart move? Should we reevaluate that, given maybe some of those inequities on a national scale of how the rev share is being divvied up? So there's no doubt on a national scale that there are some outliers for sure. Within the SEC, I think for the most part, everybody's pretty close in range. You're talking about a football dominated conference, pretty much across the board. And so I don't think there's many outliers in the SEC, within that range. You hear the stories, you hear the urban legend, you hear the chatter, from talking to my counterparts in the NIL collective space. We're all pretty much in the same boat, or pretty much in the same range, and we're all fighting the same battles. Hey, how are we going to get all this money cleared through? To your point, Chase, supplemental NIL is really, really important in basketball, given the rev share difference between football and basketball, and baseball as well. The good news about baseball is the scholarship allocation helps a sport that used to be an equivalent sport. Now really helps the baseball program with them being able to allocate now really 35 scholarships. So that lessens the sting in baseball. But I think we're all pretty much fighting the same battles. And again, we're all trying to, exchange notes. And anybody that tells you, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen with the CSC or NIL Go or, the rev share is probably a little bit being, probably not being 100% realistic. I do think at some point we're going to get to some form of employment and collective bargaining.
Oh.
I think it's inevitable. What that looks like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think next 3 to 5 years, we're going to end up there somehow.
Wow.
Do you worry about? You're far more in touch with fans than probably either of us are. Do you worry about how when they become employees, they're not students really anymore? I guess some of them would still be students, but at this point, you wouldn't have to be a student. You're just a contract employee. Do you worry that not appealing to fans the way that, like there's probably a lot of people that when you went to school that were like, hey, I was in the same class with Walker Jones or your teammates or whatever. There was a feeling of camaraderie because you all, technically walked the same paths to classes and such. With that going away, you think people go, well, I mean, if I want to cheer for pro sports, I'll go cheer for the best pro sport.
Yeah, and look, Neal, that's certainly a concern that I've heard, and that's real, that's out there. Maybe there's ways to get around that. Again, if part of the collective bargaining is progress towards degree and academic requirements, that's part of the collective bargaining. Maybe you shore that up a little bit. Where, hey, look, you're going to be a designated employee in this status. And I think that's where Congress, maybe there's a special status, a student athlete in there where they have some aspects of the employment to collectively bargain, but yet they don't have to go full full employment, unionization, and that's where Congress could step in. But I do think that is something that could be addressed where, look, hey, here's what it's going to look like. Your employment status includes academic progress and a minimum requirement for taking a certain amount of hours to be eligible to receive that compensation. So I think you could address that on the academic side. And do they become employees of the Southeastern Conference or the conference that they're in and not the university to get around all the nuances of state law and labor law, right to work states and things like that. Maybe they're employees of the SEC or the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC. And again, there's a special status there that requires, academic enrollment and academic progress. So look, we've done a lot of wonderful things in this country. We figured out some very complex problems. I have no doubt that we could figure this out. Those things are real, Neal, that you talked about. But man, I think if we got a lot of really smart people in the room, we could probably address those things to some degree. And again, until we do, I just think you're going to still see, some of these chronic challenges that we're going to face in sustainability. And I think that's the worry we all have to kind of be thinking about is how do we sustain this? And look at the TV viewership. College sports has never been as popular as it is now. I think it will continue to be. We need to preserve that and need to be careful, that whatever model we go to doesn't take away the fandom, which is what makes college sports so great.
Kind of last thing, you've hit on this, but as far as giving opportunities, anything new, just sort of stressing, what's kind of the final message to some Ole Miss people today?
Yeah, I think it's two things, Chase, and I appreciate you asking that. I think it's, we're going to continue to give different and new opportunities to our fans, both corporately and individually to give. We've got the Grove Collective, where our membership is vitally important. We've been a top 5, member-based collective since we started back in 21 or 22. And that membership revenue really goes to the fan interaction and fan engagement, the pregame tailgates where we have athletes come and sign autographs and take pictures, the Meet the Rebel events, things like that, the pregame baseball tailgates, the baseball players signing autographs at basketball games, and really giving our fans a medium to connect with these athletes as those rosters drastically change year to year. So the membership piece is really, really important. And we really want to continue to stress that through the Grove Collective. And that's going to be those fan engagement opportunities. And then Magnolia Sports Group, which is a subsidiary of the Grove Collective, that's our marketing arm. That's our corporate marketing arm. And that's where the businesses, the city of Oxford, the local, regional, and national business community can become sponsors. They write that off from an advertising standpoint. We're able to tie these athletes to those activations to get those things approved through the CSC and through the clearinghouse. So those things are vitally important, and we're going to continue to have new ideas and new opportunities throughout the year come up as we learn more and more about the regulatory environment. So I really just encourage our fans to pay attention to those things and to continue to help us with that. Go to the website, hit us up on social media. And again, in a world where rev share is really important, but that supplemental NI bucket is going to be really, really vital. And that's going to be, again, the Chancellor and Keith Carter are going to do a phenomenal job of doing what they need to do contractually for Lane and our coaches, both from compensation standpoint to assistant coaches' salaries to support group, the resources within the building. I have no doubt that the Chancellor and Keith will continue to do that as they've done. So that box is going to get checked. When Lane or any other coach looks at, do I stay here or not, it's going to come down to, can I field a competitive roster to win a championship and be relevant on the national scale? And that comes to retention, roster management, and roster recruitment. And that's where we come into play. And that's where every dollar that comes to us, we're going to put it to great use. And those are going to be the things that are really important to Lane, or like I said, any of our coaches, when they make that decision, ultimately, can I still win here and be competitive, or do I need to go somewhere else? And then lastly, I think the other piece is, man, show up. The Washington State game, unfortunately, was not a great look in that stadium, from our student section to the energy in the stadium. And look, I get it. Our fans have been great. We had 3 straight home games. It was fall break, all those things. I understand those things. And, our fans it's expensive. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, we have to show up and support these teams. And those things matter. You heard Lane mention in his press conference, talking about selling the game out and having a raucous environment and a 6 p.m. night SEC kickoff. You saw Kirby talk about it when we went over to Georgia that week and talking and begging his fans to show up. So those things matter. And so I just challenge our fans to show up, be loud, be there. Those are the things that we can control. Not what's going on social media or what's going on in Lane's mind or what the national media is saying and the noise and all that. We can control supporting these fans, focusing on winning, supporting the collective, supporting Magnolia Sports Group, supporting Keith and our chancellor. And if we do all those things, I like our chances. I like where we are. And whatever happens, we're going to be in a great spot.
Perfect. Appreciate it, bud. As
Thanks,
always,
sir.
Let's talk.
Hey, you guys. Appreciate Neal. Appreciate you, Chase. Chase, you guys are great, man. Thanks for the opportunity to come on.
Thank you, Walker.
Walker Jones now joining us there on the Campbell Clinic hotline. We will carry on in 1 second. First, tell you about the Jackson Graber Group with GMFS Mortgage in Oxford. It's John Graber, local trusted mortgage lender right here in town. Help all home buyers of first-time new construction, refinance, graduate from Oxford High, Ole Miss alum, in-house processing, underwriting, servicing, and construction. Somebody who knows your market can take care of you. Licensed in multiple states. So if you're buying a home, refinancing, or just have questions, that's gmfsmortgage.com/JGG 662-762-4502.
We're presented by ENT Physicians of North Mississippi. As the largest private ENT practice in the state, their goal is simple: delivering fast, expert, comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing. It sounds like a bomb going off.
That popping stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Did I do it in the mic?
I think you did it in the mic. Threw me off there. I'm a little jumpy with that sound right now, if I'm honest. They have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. You can get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Coming to town this weekend, next month, whatever the case may be. It's holiday time, holiday shopping. If jewelry is on your list of holiday gifting needs, look no further than Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They can do everything you need from jewelry. They can get what you need. Perfect for Christmas, other gifts at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. It's a powder game this weekend. Plenty of powder polos, tees, quarter zips, sweatshirts, hoodies, more at the College Corner. It's right there in the Oxford Commons, right across from the secret Chick-fil-A. Plenty of parking available. Staff's going to have you in and out on your way to the Grove, on the way to the stadium, to the pavilion in no time. All the brands you're looking for: Horn Legend, Nike, Champion, Antigua, just to name a few. You can always check them out as well at collegecornerstore.com. And we're brought to you by Kaiser Flooring. You can kick up the cozy in your home this season with new floors from Kaiser Flooring, a certified installers. They're proud to offer a wide range of options. They even do showers, heated tiles, and more. So wherever you stand in your home, stand confidently thanks to the specialist at Kaiser Flooring. Visit Kaiser Flooring in Oxford or Batesville, or check them out online at kaiserflooring.com.
Does your home and auto insurance keep going up? Let the folks at the firm, a proud Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance agency partner, take a look. Founded by Ole Miss alum Brian Hayden, they service the entire Southeastern Conference footprint. Let their team of licensed professionals review your insurance needs and put together a comprehensive look at your family without breaking the bank. Schedule that consultation, 662-236-1101, staff at thefirmsouth.com. That's 662-236-1101, staff at thefirmsouth.com. And podcast brought to you by New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions. That's newalbanypharmacy.com, a new website you should check out to see all they have to offer. They're located 140 Fairfield Drive in New Albany. 662-539-7777. Family-owned pharmacy, excellent service, wide range of gifts for all ages, home decor, jewelry, and much more. Tell them you heard about them from MPW Digital and get 15% off any non-medical purchase. So again, in Union County, that's 662-539-7777. Weird stat here. Did you see this? That
I don't know.
Brad Paisley has sung 4 national anthems before World Series games.
I did not see this.
2017, Game 2, 11 innings.
Okay.
Game 3, 2018, 18 innings.
Okay.
Game 1 to 2024, 10 innings.
Okay.
Game 3, 2025, 18 innings.
How about that?
There have been 2 18-inning World Series games in history, and Brad Paisley sang the national anthem for both of them.
He needs to stay away.
I mean, it's one of those logic things of causation, not necessarily coincidence here.
Yeah,
so
Brad's
yeah.
look, dude.
I just came out there and sang for a minute and 28 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I have not watched a pitch of the World Series, and I don't know why. I don't know why this doesn't. I'm fascinated to see the numbers. The Dodgers are in it. We're going to get at least a 6-game series. The biggest star in the sport is in the series. I'm fascinated to see TV numbers. And if there is a Game 7, it'll be Saturday night. So you're going up against primetime college football. Game 5 is tonight. Someone's going to take a 3-2 lead. Thursday's a travel day. Game 6 will be on Friday, so someone could win a championship on Friday. But if they don't, Game 7 will be on Saturday night, head-to-head against college football. It will be fascinating to see what the numbers look like. I don't know. That's not a leading thing. I'm genuinely curious to see what the numbers are.
I mean, I know who's going to win. What channel are we on for the World Series?
I would assume Fox.
Is that right?
I haven't watched.
I watched some last night. I've watched a little bit of every game, but I have not been locked in by any stretch. I'm for the Blue Jays. They controlled last night's game throughout, 2-2. Now, one more in L.A. before heading back to Toronto, and it will head back to Toronto no matter what. It's been fun, but
yeah,
just I talked to multiple people who went, "Hey, stayed up to the end of the game the other night until 2 a.m," and I went, "Well, glad you did." Didn't even contemplate it.
Yeah, I have literally forgotten it was on each day. No reason. I just haven't watched.
Yeah, even multiple people yesterday. I was doing that stuff at ICC yesterday, and that was conversation topic with multiple people was the World Series the night before.
Well, good.
It shocked me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I did not expect that to be. I only had one person when I was speaking to the different groups of people and different forums that asked where Lane Kiffin was going. That was only the question from one student. So
really?
That was a win for the day.
Oh, wow.
Only one.
I have a hard time escaping it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. You won't turn it. Well, no, you won't turn it on tonight. What time does it start?
I don't know. 7, I would guess. 7 o'clock, 7:30.
7 on Fox. On the dot, 7.
Yeah, I mean, I've hit the point of the year where my sport's on, and so it's I'm if I'm turning something on, that's kind of where I'm going usually, because it's still at the early phase where it's fun to watch all the different teams and to see who kind of looks like they might have a little juice and who doesn't.
Hockey.
Yeah. Hockey.
The Oilers. The Canucks.
Yep.
Okay.
The Lightning. Amazing.
They're good, aren't they?
I have no idea.
I think Tampa's good. Isn't Tampa usually good? Didn't they win the Cup like 2 years ago?
I think so.
I got asked yesterday by one student, what is from a sports standpoint, what's the one story and the one book that resonates with you the most on, like, hey, they went really deep and like told the human level? Because I was doing my whole spiel about, hey, it's still about people no matter what, focus on people, blah, 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 blah. And I had to really think about that. Like, is there one book, one story that went, hey, that that hits me and like going, hey, that's really, really well done on something interesting. And there's a lot, but when you're trying to think of it in real time, you're going,
Yeah.
what's there? And I pull something really random from a magazine story, news content story, and it was the Sports Illustrated feature on Secretariat at the end of his life, and it is phenomenal, really, really good. And you wouldn't think horse racing was where my mind would go, but I guess that's why I'm mentioning this. Is I was shocked because I was expecting to pull some baseball, football, something out, even golf, and instead I pulled out horse racing out of my head when I thought, no, just story that was immaculately done.
Sports Illustrated?
I think it was Sports Illustrated. I think it was like Pure Heart or something's the title of it, but it was a cover story at the end of Secretariat's life.
Okay.
On Secretariat and all the different tentacles of that.
I'm literally sitting here trying to think of something and I'm struggling.
Yeah, and then the book that I gave is one that I've read multiple times and really liked it. And I don't know how many people. I mean, I picked it up, I think, in Off Square Books just randomly one time. Well, no, sorry. I actually found it in high school, and then I found it in Off Square Books and bought it. It was Richard Rubin's book, Confederacy of Silence. He was from the Northeast, moved to the Mississippi Delta as a newspaper reporter.
Yeah.
So the first half of the book is him basically learning the South. He was from like Syracuse, and it was the only job he could find. And he was covering Handy Campbell, who was in the Mississippi Delta, ended up signing football at Ole Miss. Handy's status around town, what football meant to those communities, all those sort of things. I think they played Todd Jordan and Tupelo in the playoffs and all this stuff. And then the second half of the book is he gets a call from somebody, comes back to Mississippi because Handy Campbell's been charged with murder years later. And it's that. And really, fascinating book.
Was he convicted?
I don't remember the end now that I was saying that because I don't recall the exact specifics of what that book was. So, yeah. But anyway, that was where my mind went. And I went, okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't. I've read some sports books. I don't typically read a lot of sports books, but I've read some.
I mean, I've said this forever.
More biographical than anything.
Maybe the best autobiography, because it had a ghostwriter, but it was an autobiography that I've read. Again, not the sports you would expect, is Open by Andre Agassi.
Oh.
It's a phenomenal biography.
Yeah.
Is Agassi. His J.R. Moehringer was his ghostwriter, really accomplished ghostwriter. But it's for all purposes, it's an autobiography. Had a psychotic father who mentally abused him in so many ways, and also probably made him the best returner in tennis history, because in some ways got very lucky that he actually had a child that could athletically handle his torment. When you think about it,
yeah.
He would set up when Andre was 7, 8 years old. He would set up a ball returner that would throw the ball at you, and he took the governor off of it to try to see how fast he could get the balls going at a 7 or 8 year old. And it would hit the concrete or whatever the playing surface was, and he was so tiny, the ball's bouncing up over his head. Well, as anybody who plays tennis understands this, it was psychological torture and child abuse. But later on, what happened was Agassi learned how to always hit the ball on the way up, because he had to hit the ball on the way up because it was going to go over his head.
Right.
So his hands were elite in every way, and he was able to return serves with the ball on the way up in ways that a lot of people could not do. So it made him.
I just can't imagine torturing my child like that.
Well, you got to have so many screws loose. I mean, your life has been such a disappointment in your mind that I'm going to not just live vicariously, but I'm going to torment and torture my child to prove some athletic or accomplished point. Yeah.
Does he hate his father?
Complicated. Real complicated.
Because without that, he's probably not a world-class tennis player.
I mean, probably not, at least. He ended up moving to Bolletary at one point and hanging out with all them and doing that whole deal. But I mean, it's an excellent book.
It's fascinating, yeah. I mean,
ended up not going, but one of their kids was heavily recruited by Ole Miss, just journalism, back when that was going. I know nothing about his athletic prowess, although I'm sure.
Was it a male or female?
think it was male. I think.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little spotty there, but I think so. The expectations on that child to be good at tennis, considering his parents are Steffi Graf and Andre Agassi, were probably immense at one point.
I've read a lot about like Russell Westbrook's upbringing. His dad took him and his brother out to the basketball court every morning, like 4:30 in the morning. For years, yeah.
Mandated, get
They
it
just
up.
did it, and I guess after a while they wanted to do it. I don't know, but they did it. It was intense. I've been watching season 2 of Starting Five. They're following 5 NBA players last year.
Okay.
There's a lot of common threads in that.
Who were the 5?
It's Kevin Durant, James Harden, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
So they got names.
Yeah, and they have great access. And they all have there's a parental thing with all of them. It's really interesting where they were pushed in a way that like I don't know that I possess that right to push like that. I don't know that
it gets so shaky fast, and I mean, it's how much of just focus turns into too much depending on the age. I mean, I stumbled upon a video. I was just flipping through YouTube yesterday looking for something, and I saw this parent, and his child was really young. He was, seriously 2, and he was pitching underhand to his child, hitting little small wiffle ball looking things in their basement or something. And the dad was being supportive and great and like really showing. And I mean, it's a cool moment outside of kids 2 and they're focused this much on technique. And it's like, and again, I'm not saying it's wrong even. I'm just, my thing went, let me think about this for a minute. What do I think?
Yep.
And I kind of went, And I kind of left it with, yeah, nothing terrible. I think I'm okay with it, but just I kind of did a thought process through my head real quick. TV numbers really good over the weekend. I know no one's surprised by that. Alabama, South Carolina carried a 7.8 average on ABC to lead the country on Saturday.
2:30 game.
That's true. A&M, LSU, second, 6.8 million. ABC again, number 2 for the week.
Yep.
And Ole Miss, Oklahoma, number 3 for the week. So ABC went 1, 2, 3, 6, 6. 6, 6.
Well, people don't like it when you say it, so I won't even say it.
Well, it did finish 3rd.
But it's right there.
Finished 3rd.
It's right there.
I mean, I barely see a podium. I don't know. 4, 5, 6, 7. Michigan State, 3.6 on NBC. Missouri, Vanderbilt, ESPN, 3.1. UCLA, Indiana, 3 million on Fox. And BYU, Iowa State, Fox, 2.6 million. There's a network I did not mention that under a previous contract I would have mentioned.
What a failure. Worked out for the SEC, though.
ABC said, thank you very much.
Because now you have a primetime slot all day long.
Just sit on the channel.
ABC's got this thing in 1 year figured out. You put a big game on at 11, you put a big game on at 2:30, and you put a big game on at 6:30, and you just ride. They figured it out. Credit to them.
Yeah.
Because CBS didn't. I mean, I could have told them. I could have done this for a lot cheaper, probably.
Yeah, this one was not complicated.
This was not complicated. That's where it's going.
I know.
So, I mean, and they use, I don't watch that show, but they use it as a, hey, check in, remind people, hey, we got this stuff on ABC. They've got games on, it's CBS dropped the ball, period. I mean, it's not even a fumble. It's like you just, I'll never understand.
Take our final break, tell you about Chicory Market, chicorymarket.com. Again, reserve your turkeys. They mentioned it yesterday. Thanksgiving will be here before you know it because Halloween is just 2 days away. Wow. Halloween 2 days away. Thanksgiving before you know it there. Again, chicorymarket.com. They're located on North Lamar in Oxford in the Midtown Shopping Center. And then I hadn't talked about this before, but they have excellent sandwich specials every day. A full menu of sandwiches every single day. You can eat right there in the atrium. So a lot of lunch places around town. But if you're on that side of town, It's great. They've got the muffaletta for just $10 with some stuff to go with it. Neal's a big muffaletta guy over here. You can have that. Got a lot of options.
I don't need to be anywhere close to that.
Including the muffaletta.
But I'm sure it's fantastic.
And then, again, Johnstown Creamery located inside. So you can go by, pick up some in-house made cheeses. You can get some catering and tailgate options for this weekend. Again, it's just Wednesday, so go in, see what they have to offer there to help your tailgate, help the catering out this weekend. ChickoryMarket.com and JohnstownCreamery.com.
We are brought to you by, let's see. Oh, it's final week to register your young person for youth basketball with the Oxford Park Commission. Final day of registration is Sunday. You got till this Sunday. Basketball open for both boys and girls, ages 7 to 15. The league will play from January 1st to February the 19th. The games are played in both indoor centers on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings with no more than 2 games in a week for teams. So sign up through your OPC website account or check them out at both centers in person Friday from 8 a.m., Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to register in person. Since its inception in 1873, Coors Banquet has been brewed in the same tradition of the original 150-year-old recipe. Banquet is crafted with 100% Rocky Mountain water, so when you're enjoying a banquet, you are drinking history. Put that in your cooler or whatnot for the Grove this weekend. That would be my recommendation. You'll love that as you get ready for a 6 p.m. game at Vaught Hemingway. Call Argent Welt's 401k Advisory Services team today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Argent Wealth on the Oxford Exxon podcast. Get 10% off your first year's fees. We're also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. This is pretty simple. If you want to plan a trip that's a special one that will create a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John, 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. It's corinthdental.com. Got a mailbag up this morning. Chase has referenced it a couple times. It's brought to you by my friend Art Hayes of Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? If you are, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's, a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, so call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. And if you're looking for your new favorite Ole Miss hats, look no further than Hovey hats. They're high-quality headwear that will have your friends asking you where you got them. Take a look at their collection of Ole Miss hats at Hovey, H-O-V-I, drygoods.com. Grab your new favorite hat at hoveydrygoods.com, made for Rebs by Rebs.
One product I want to mention real quick that I forgot earlier from Horn Legend. They've got a Realtree Ole Miss collaboration going. It is a Navy performance hoodie that looks outstanding in small kind of font on the front, the Realtree and the Ole Miss logo there on the front. So that's available right now at hornlegend.com. Go to the collections page, then click on Realtree, and it is located there. I will take a picture of it. I'll put it out somewhere, but that is a new item they have available and looks awesome. They have a couple of things in there as well as a white one also. I'm seeing the Navy, but there are some white options also for that. Again, hornlegend.com. So
Horn Legend's awesome, man. They got great products. They
I
do.
I know I forgot Neal's stuff this morning. He was like, "Hey, so what do we get?" I'm almost like the guy who's like itching for the little extra hit. It's like, "Hey, what we got? What's up? What's here?" I was like, "Yeah, it's here." I just kind of forgot it. Got one for Siski too. Forgot about it. So we'll.
Hurts my feelings.
Well, you got a sharp little pullover on right now. You're good. You're fine.
Got the thoughts rolling with my guys.
Who do they play tonight? You matched your Hovey hat to it too. Did you put thought into that?
I did not put thought into it, but I realized that it did match, and I was kind of like, "Please." It was pretty subtle.
It looks very matched.
I know.
Looks like uniform almost.
Well, maybe it is, but it's not.
Okay.
Thunder don't play tonight. They play tomorrow night against the Wizards, I think, at home. They played They had a back-to-back Monday and Tuesday, so they're off tonight.
Yeah, I kind of hate myself because I should like it, but something about the muffaletta I don't love. I think it's the olive salad. It's not olives are not my thing.
Really?
No.
There's nothing about a muffaletta that I don't like, and so I have to completely.
The only thing you don't like about it is the large size they are, which means you want to eat the entire thing.
Yes, it's very hard
because they are huge sandwiches.
It's very hard to just take a few bites and stop. You want to eat the whole damn thing, and then you hate yourself. So, or I do. I have all sorts of issues.
Yeah, olive salad is not my jam. That's not it. So
I'm trying to get back into the full fasting thing.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm working at it.
How many hours?
Well, my goal is to work my way to a place where I don't eat until 3:00.
Okay.
It works when I do it.
I mean, it does work.
It's hard to do. You just have to mentally
and you have to really hydrate.
You have to really hydrate.
That's the catch.
And I'm pretty good about that.
Yeah, I'm awful. I mean, it's probably my one biggest issue above all else is hydration. I'm terrible at just drinking water. Oh, yeah. I forget about it. I don't really get thirsty much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm liable to come in from a run and just not even.
And by the time you get thirsty, you're dehydrated.
Oh, you're done.
Right.
Yeah. DJ in the stream, good to meet you yesterday. Do appreciate that. There.
Like I'm not a social lunch person. Like for a lot of people, fasting's hard because they do a lot of social lunch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I mean, you do probably 4 or 5 days a week.
1 day a week at most.
Really?
We go on Fridays when I go, and frankly, I don't do a ton after that. My day is so routine oriented that I'm not against it. I'm fine doing it, but I have to almost kind of plan it a little bit because in the middle of the day, because I mean, again, nobody wants to hear this. We're not digging ditches. I get we're not sitting in a room from 9 to 5 working. I understand,
but you're still working.
But I typically like exercising right after the show.
Yeah,
and that's like 10:15 to 11:15. Well, by the time you shower, it's 12:30, and then also I go, well, hell, my day's gotten away from me now because I think sometimes when I'm doing my schedule for the day, I don't consider that the podcast is taking up 2 hours of my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So when you start completely mapping it out, you go, well, when am I getting other stuff done? Like, when does this happen?
It was one of the reasons with McCready and Siskey, I had to cut it back to 2 days. That was a 2+ hour commitment every afternoon, and it was just killing me. It was just destroying my day. I was not able to do it. Like the other day, I had to say, hey, I've got to get out of here 3:15. And it's just hard to turn that around. You know, because I want to occasionally, like last night I taped with Pete. So my day went until about 9:00. And you just want to occasionally be done so that you can have the evening.
I am trying to hydrate right now I typically would put coffee in my cup I bring, and I put water this morning just to get some hydration in me as the day went on.
Kentucky cup.
My Kentucky cup, yes. Go Cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought Kentucky was so stupid.
Yeah, it's all good. So it's fine. Okay, sorry. I got a text that distracted me. All right. We will
Wicked, I had not seen the Saban quote about Lane.
What do you say?
I'm taking Wicked's word for it here. He's quoting Saban as saying, I think you can have a long debate on whether either of those jobs, I presume he means Florida and LSU, is actually better than the job he has now. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I think you have a long debate about a lot of it, honestly. I agree with, if that is indeed what Coach Saban said, I agree with him. It's why wrapping it up, the frustrating part of and it's not all people, it's just a small segment. It's a very small segment of people that take the words I don't know and turn it into something other than I don't know. They take I don't know and turn it into you say he's leaving. Oh, y'all's tone is he's leaving. I didn't say that. If I thought he was leaving, I'd say he's leaving.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, sure.
I mean,
I'm not going to lie about it.
I've been doing this a long time. I've covered a lot of coaches. I mean, things have a beginning date and an end date. I don't know. what he's going to do. I'm making a somewhat educated assumption that he's at least thinking about it based on the fact that he hasn't agreed to an extension. He hasn't come out and said, no, I'm not. But I've also said that doesn't necessarily mean anything because that's pretty consistent with how he's always handled seasons.
Yeah.
And he seems to be completely dialed in on this team because, if anything, he overcoached the last game.
He did.
So I don't, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Walker Jones just said he didn't know.
He said he expected weeks.
I don't know how many people have to say you don't know until people understand that there is no resolution yet.
Yeah. Be back tomorrow morning with Jeffrey and picks. It is always Thursday. Hand raise guys tomorrow and more. So MPW Digital Rebels 24/7. In the meantime, appreciate you guys and appreciate Walker Jones for his time on the Campbell Clinic Hotline. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.